This will be for the Kuta software worksheet, the triangle inequality theorem. So the triangle inequality theorem states that the sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. So if you look at a triangle and realize that the shortest distance between any 2 points is a line. So if I wanted to travel from A to C, the shortest distance from A to C would just be that line segment that connects point A and point C. Okay? Of course, it's going to be a longer distance if I take two line segments to get from A to C. So if I go from A to B and then B to C, of course, those two distances combined will be longer than if I just took a direct line segment from A to C. And as a result, if you add any two side lengths, it's going to be greater than the third side length of a triangle. Okay, remember the distance from A to C is basically indicated by the two letters AC without the bar on top. All right. So this side length right here is AC. Okay. This side length right here is BC. And this side length right here is AB. So if you add any two, it's going to be greater than the third. All right, remember the inequality symbol always points to the less than side. So if you add any two sides, it's going to be greater than the third side. So AB plus BC is greater than AC. AC plus BC is greater than AB. And AB plus AC is greater than BC. Now, if we do a little bit of algebra, we can pretty much make another theorem out of this, okay? On this equation right here, or this inequality, I should say, I am going to subtract BC from both sides. Okay, I'm doing the same thing to both sides. And as a result, BC minus BC cancels, and I'm left with AB is greater than AC minus BC. Okay? And then over here, if I subtract AC from both sides, it cancels here. Bring down BC. And I have BC is greater than AB minus AC. Okay, and finally, we did one for AB, we did one for BC, and now we're going to do it for AC. So I'm going to subtract AB from both sides. AB minus AB cancels. Bring down AC, and that's going to be greater than BC minus AB. Okay, so notice when you subtract the two sides, it's always less than the third side. Okay, right here I subtracted two sides, it's less than the third side. Right here I subtracted two sides, it's less than the third side. So we can say the difference, which is basically when you subtract, the difference between any two sides of a triangle is less than the third side. All right. So when you take the difference between two sides, it's always going to be less than the third side. All right. But when you take the sum, it's always going to be greater than the third side. So just remember that for any one given triangle. Okay, onto the worksheet. State if the three numbers can be the measures of the sides of a triangle. All right, so let's look at number 1. We said that the sum of any two sides has to be greater than the third. All right. So let's try adding two sides and make sure it's greater than the third. First, we'll try 7 plus 5. And make sure it's greater than 4. Okay. 7 plus 5 is 12. Is 12 greater than 4? Yes. All right. And let me rewrite this. All right, we did 7 plus 5. Then let's try 5 plus 4. Is 5 plus 4 greater than 7? Well, that's basically asking, is 9 greater than 7? And we know that that's true. Okay, and finally, we did 7, 5. We did 5 and 4. Now let's do 7 and 4. Is 7 plus 4 greater than 5? Well, that's just 11 greater than 5. And that one's true. So since all three are true, the answer is yes. Now, do you always have to do all three? Well, you certainly can, but the shortcut would just be this one right here. You can do all three if you want, but the shortcut would just be to do this one. Okay, and I will explain. The shortcut would be to add the two shortest sides and then it must be greater than third side. All right. So really you only have to do one of them. You can do all three if you want. But if you look at this here, 7 plus 5 greater than 4. Well, 7 is already greater than 4. So obviously if you add a side length, it's still going to be greater than 4. And same with this one here, 7 plus 4 greater than 5. 7 is already greater than 5. So we already know if you add a side length to 7, of course, that's going to be greater than 5. So you can do the shortcut or you can do all three, whichever one you feel comfortable with. All right, let's look at number 10 real quick. I'm going to use the shortcut. So if I pick the two shortest sides, this one here, and out of these two, it's a tie. So I'll just pick either one of those two. Okay, so let's see. Let's do 1 plus 13 and see if that's greater than the third side, which is 13. Well, of course, 14 is greater than 13. So that's it. The answer is yes. This is a possible triangle. All right, if you want to do all three, you can, but you don't have to. Now in the next section, two sides of a triangle have the following measures. Find the range of possible measures for the third side. Okay? In all of these problems, I am going to let the third side equal x. Now remember we said in the notes if it's the sum of two sides, it's greater than the third side. But we said if it's the difference between any two sides, it's going to be less than the third side. So you need to know that. So we let the third side equal x, right? So x is going to be less than the sum, but greater than the difference. Let me rewrite that. All right, so x is going to be greater than the difference, but less than the sum. Basically, x is between the sum and the difference. All right, so we have x, and it's going to be less than the sum. The sum is just going to be 9 plus 5. And then for the difference, it's just going to be 9 minus 5. Okay. Now I want to make a note here for the difference. For the difference, you want to put the greater number first. Okay, if you do 5 minus 9, you're going to get a negative number. You cannot have a negative side length for a triangle. Okay, all the side lengths have to be positive. So when you do the difference or subtraction, you want to put the greater number first. All right, so 9 minus 5 is 4. And that is going to be less than x. And 9 plus 5 is 14. And 14 is going to be greater than x. So that's your answer. X is going to be between 4 and 14. And it's not equal, so it doesn't include 4 and it doesn't include 14. So basically any number, it could be 4.1, it could be 13.9, any number in between 4 and 14. Okay, please try number 18. All right, we said x is between the sum and the difference. All right, for the difference or subtraction, you put the bigger number first. So 14 minus 11 is the difference, and that's going to be less than x. And for the sum, it's going to be 14 plus 11. All right, 14 minus 11 is 3. And that's less than x. That's less than x. And 14 plus 11 is 25, and that's greater than x. So x is between 3 and 25.